Hello, Joel.
Hi there, Andrew.
How you doing today?
Snuggly.
It's episode 32 of the Medellín podcast.
You don't like the word snuggly, Andrew?
No.
Okay. What episode is it, Andrew?
32.
32. Spanish. Sounds like you're trying to take us somewhere with that song. Where are you taking us, Andrew?
Vamos pa la playa.
Let's go.
Pa calmar el alma. Cierra la pantalla.
Cierra tu
Abre la
pantalón.
medalla. What?
Close your mouth.
Oh, yeah. What are we drinking today, Joel?
We're over here sipping on some fine Venezuelan rum. It's called Diplomatico. It's a nice old sort of guy that looks like Colonel Sanders from KFC, but without the nice little, with the glasses, he can't afford glasses.
It's nice. It tastes good. How you doing, Sam?
Good, I'm doing good, thanks.
I like your shirt.
Thank you.
It's
Simple.
got a little rabbit on it, a little bunny rabbit. Pink ears.
I like your titties. Oh, yeah.
Andrew, I think it's gonna be a good one.
It's going to be a great one.
Guess why, Andrew?
Why?
Because we got our first. It's a first. We're losing our religion and we're losing our virginity. The first gay man person that we know of so far on the show. Welcome to episode number 32. I taught him everything he knows.
All right. My name is Andrew Messia, and this is the Medellín podcast, episode 32. And we are in Medellín, El Poblado. It's raining.
Man.
Men? It's raining.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
It's raining, man.
It's raining men. It's an all-man crew we got here. 5 of us sitting here, sweating. If we're allowed to say the word balls, I would say that we have some sweaty balls right now, and that's not a lie. It's hot, and windows are closed. Welcome to episode number 32.
Yes,
I
sir.
am Joel Duncan, Andrew's sidekick. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're here 32 episodes deep with none other than, let's do a little cheers.
Let's do a little cheers to episode 32. We're drinking some rum. We're here with our main man, Mayonnaise.
Sam I am.
Sam I am.
Sam Toucan Man.
Yeah, Sam Holdren, is it?
That's right.
That's right.
It's like Holdren with
So we've known Sam for a while, and I guess the thing that identifies Sam to me is project management. For me, that's
what identifies Sam?
yeah, like from when I knew him and until now, I knew, okay, this guy's a fucking project manager. And then he said he was gay. Now he's a gay project manager.
Well, I was going to say what identifies Sam for me is gay Sam.
Well, I didn't know that he was gay, or I didn't know that you were gay.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't. Well, when I first met you, and I think actually I had seen you on
Grindr.
some of the
You were on Grindr.
It was probably Grindr.
on some
Just a dick pic. That's it.
Just one dick pic. It doesn't count.
I just take a picture of my big hands.
Okay, so you saw him.
I saw him on Facebook in some of the groups, and I noticed that he was like in a suit and tie all the time. I was like, oh, okay. And
Really?
and then I met you in person, and you were working for a friend of ours, a mutual friend. And I saw you working, and I was like, man, this guy's a real project manager, very, very good at his job. So then I realized, because you didn't need to tell me that you were gay, because you were always surrounded
somebody
by
else told
beautiful
you.
men. Like right now.
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry. No, you're not.
No, it's
No,
amazing.
it's-
It's amazing. You're going to tell us if you remember how you met Andrew and I. It's probably a moderately embarrassing story because most of them are. Honestly, this is a real honor for me because I was thinking over this week. I actually prepared for this more than a lot of episodes because I felt a little nervous. One, because I've never interviewed a gay man. And two,
You don't know that. You may have.
I may have, but I don't know. And
Exactly.
then secondly, I actually thought it'd be really, really enlightening for me and I guess humbling for me because I thought about this and I realized, apart from one kid when we were like 17 years old that came out and I left the city I was living in, so I never got to know him after he admitted to being gay. I have never actually had a gay friend that like I've never sat and really talked to a man that's gay about his experiences in life for, I would say, longer than 5 minutes in my entire life. And I realized that by planning for this to talk to you. And so for me, I think it's going to be a great experience. And I'm happy to say that you are first here, and I hope not the last, because one of the things that me and Andrew talked about when we started this is that we want to show every walk, race, color, creed that live in Medellin, because I'm sure they all have different experience. So I'm just, taking my hat off to say thanks and welcome to the Medellin podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. So introduce yourself, Sam.
Okay. My name is Sam.
I am Sam.
I am Sam.
Yeah.
I want to say something actually really quickly to what you just said, Joel. And you shouldn't touch your face, by the way, because coronavirus. Actually, I wouldn't say so much that he admitted to being gay. He just acknowledged it, right? There's nothing to admit. He just sort of like recognized it finally and acknowledged it. But
Or maybe like came out.
yeah, and came out, right? So then he came out to himself and recognized it, right? No, I mean, I've been living here in Medellin for 5 years. Came here initially 6 years ago just to study Spanish. I actually went to the predecessor of Tucan. You guys all know Tucan, right?
Yeah, Tucan.
And it was Medellin Language Academy, and studied there. And then I just fell in love with the place. Like so many people, probably like you guys, who came down here. And you just fall in love with Medellin. Why? Because it's so beautiful. The people are amazing. It's very clean. All the reasons you always hear, right? But I don't know what else you want me to tell you about my story.
We're going to get into that. So, well, you said that you came here to learn Spanish initially, 5-6 years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
And then I came back a year later to move. That's when I made the choice.
Well, I think that's interesting because you come from a Hispanic background, a Latin American background, right?
That's correct. My mom is Mexican-American. My grandmother's from Mexico, born in Mexico.
Okay.
Crossed the line a long time ago.
So does that mean that you can claim citizenship in Mexico?
I don't think
Your
so.
grandma was Mexican?
My mom has to claim it first, and she hasn't done
she
it.
has it.
You know, my mom grew up like so many Mexican-Americans in that day, right? Chicanos, right? Just sort of like integrating with American society, not really, being Mexican, but not identifying necessarily with the Mexican nationality, right?
Okay. And what about your dad?
My dad? What's the question?
Because Hispanic background is your mom's side.
Yeah, my dad is white. I mean, like so many Americans who knows what our like white background is.
Did you know your dad?
Yeah, of course. My parents are still married. They still live together. We're still very, very close with them.
But he doesn't know anything about his background. No Irish, Scottish.
A little bit. I mean, his dad died when he was really, really young. So, we think maybe like, I don't know, like English or something like that. Who knows?
Holdren. Yeah, your last name is Holdren. So.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something because of the fact that I'm going to let you repeat something. I said I knew one kid. We were 17, and he.
You said admitted.
Admitted.
But
you said
you said
acknowledged.
Okay,
right?
good. So let's set the standard for this podcast, because I know we're going to get a lot of comments on this one, a lot of interaction on this one. Cool. And I want to, for anybody that is gay, LGBTQ, and anything else, unfortunately, I'm not as educated on terminology and what is correct and what is incorrect and I'm not up to scratch with everything. So at the beginning of this episode, I said Corona. I said, hi, Corona. I said gay. And for today, just for today, and just for the purpose of this podcast, to include everyone in a group, right?
Sure.
We're going to use the word gay so that I don't have to go through, I think it's about 72 different identifiable or to whom you're attracted to.
So Sam, do you have any siblings?
I do, actually. Yeah, I have 2 older siblings. There's my brother, who's the oldest.
Frodo?
No. Because Samwise, right?
Oh, Samwise. Okay.
No, his name is Alex or Alejandro.
Alejandro.
He's got the actual Latino name in the family.
Yeah.
And then my sister is Tanya, and she lives in Florida, and my brother's in California. That's where I grew up. And then there's me.
What part of California?
Central California, small town. I grew
Which
up in a
one?
really small town called Lemoore, California.
Lemoore. I've been to there.
No, you've not been.
I used to live in San Jose.
Through there.
Really? Well, I mean, San Jose is
It's
sort
north,
of
but I
close,
used to have to go through from LA to San
so
Jose.
you went on the 5 or the 99.
5
right?
or the 99. Sometimes I take the scenic
Sure.
route and take the Pacific Coast Highway all the way
Oh,
up.
the one,
That's like an
that's
extra
oh my
hour.
God. Oh, no, that's like an extra day.
Yeah,
It's-
no, it's fun though. It's fun.
Yeah, it's
I love that drive. But anyway,
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm
Central
from Toronto,
California.
Canada.
bro,
It's a
that's
small
one of the most
town.
beautiful drives you'll ever do. Like in the movies, like
Uh-huh.
you see it, Pacific Coast Highway going
Oh, it's
across,
beautiful.
going up the
I've never done it actually. I've only done parts of it.
beach. Yeah,
So
it's amazing.
what were you? You came. When was the first time you came here?
Got 2013, December of 2013.
What were you doing?
December
in
1st,
the-
actually.
What were you doing in 2013, Joel?
I was just hustling, trying to make it.
Photographing.
Yeah. I had the first art exhibit that
Oh,
year.
yeah, that's right.
I went to India that year, and I got a custom made suit to make myself look like I had more money than I did, and I had shit all. I was broke as fuck in 2013.
Yeah.
What were you doing prior to 2013?
Well, I mean, this was December 2013. So before that, I was in Boston.
Okay.
I was there for a couple years on a job doing advocacy work for basically inner city kids, advocating for a better education. There's an issue. Massachusetts has the best education system in the United States. You know, the kids always outperform other kids in other schools, in other states. But when you deal with like Black and Latino kids in the inner city, they're always left behind.
Really?
And so, yeah.
Okay.
So there's some interventions, and you had to empower the schools and give them more freedoms and give them more flexibilities, give the principals sort of control over their schools to be able to actually turn things around. And so
Okay.
that's what we advocated for, those types of policies. And it wasn't easy because, you know, I'm a very liberal person and we're in a very liberal state, but we're advocating for what they perceived as very conservative policies. And really, it was just about doing what's best for the kids. And so,
Okay.
What did that entail? What did you do on a daily basis?
well, I was the marketing and communications director. So I did communications work, you know, a lot of press work, getting our websites, you know, the content up, communicating with our members and whatnot. But it was very political because, you know, we got engaged in a lot of political campaigns, the Boston mayor's race. We supported the candidate who ran against the current Boston mayor. But before that, we were doing actual lobbying work, advocacy work for policy. And it was very controversial at the time. Because again, it was going against the teachers union, which is the most powerful lobby group in the state of Massachusetts. And Massachusetts, it's known for its unions and having a lot of power. And I support unions 100%, but we were their opposition, so it became very difficult. But, you know, 74% of the public supported, you know, this cause, what we were supporting, what we were doing, and a majority of the teachers union supported what we were advocating for. So it became, you know, really easy to really push that message and ultimately force them to the table and get them to compromise and actually empower the schools that were suffering, that were failing, you know, to be able to turn things around. And you saw changes happen. You saw schools where, you know, the principal now had control of their budget. They had control over hiring and firing policies for the teachers. They didn't have to use seniority as the only criteria for placing teachers. They could use performance, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
In a classroom. And all of a sudden, you know, you see like funds being moved from security to music and boom, like things changing. And all of a sudden, these kids in the inner city schools outperforming their wealthy white counterparts in the suburban areas of the state.
Yeah.
Did you have, and at that point, so this is 2012, right?
That was 2011, 2012, and 2013.
Up to December.
Yeah.
But, and did you,
Well,
when you decided
a little
to
before
come,
then.
a little what? Say
A
that.
little bit before then.
Okay.
2013 is when I decided to come
And
here.
what motivated you to want to go learn Spanish
All right.
in Colombia when you did you leave
Of
that
all
job?
places, right?
All places.
Your background's Mexican,
Right,
so
sure.
I would think.
Why
that-
not Mexico? Why
Yeah.
not Chihuahua? Chihuahua.
Great question. While I was out of work, we lost one of our political campaigns, and I was no longer working. And so I needed to figure something out, and I was going to do a national search. You know, I had come from Phoenix before, worked in political advocacy, mostly gay rights work and political work before. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this national search, but it's going to take a while, and I can do that from this freezing cold apartment in Boston, or I can go to South America, which was interesting to me. and actually pick up a skill as I do my search. And so that's what I was doing. I came here, I searched, and I also studied Spanish, and that was it. Why did I choose Medellin? I don't know. Like, I knew I didn't want to go to Mexico because, I had already been there. And I'm like, let me take this opportunity to go somewhere else, somewhere different. Let me try South America. I had just gotten my passport. Yeah. So I was brand new with a fresh passport. And I Googled it. And then there was this website, Study Spanish Colombia, which Rob Danks, who is one of the owners of Toucan, Spanish School,
Rob.
Right, was running. And it explained how Medellin was this really innovative city, how it was a great place to learn Spanish because of, the neutral accent. And it was just a great place to be. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And just the sort of pushing of my roommate, he's like, just go do it. I did it, and so I came down here.
That's cool.
Before we jump ahead, Andrew asked me something today. We're sitting in the cafe because I was like, oh my God, there's this I could ask Sam, and there's this I can ask Sam.
Ask me.
And Andrew said, I wonder if Sam would share he said coming out story. I didn't even know that was a term. And I wrote it down on our brief, and I said, Sam, would you share your coming out story? And, the world has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Right? I'm 39 years old. When I was growing up, you're 39 also. So
Me too.
Let's back. Nearly
39. Yeah, 39 brothers.
All right.
Corona fist bumps.
Not 69 brothers.
So yeah, no 69 brothers. We're not the 69.
At
least not yet. At least not yet. But so I think for to really make this episode mean something and for people to understand, tell us. And because a lot of questions I have to ask have to do with being a gay man and your experience here in Medellin, and Andrew's got a lot coming. So share your coming out story.
Right? I mean, I have to think about that because that was a long time ago, right? I came out, technically, I consider my coming out. I mean, you're constantly coming out, honestly. You really just are. Because people always assume sort of you're straight. Andrew, for example, right? But my coming out story that mattered the most to me was, telling my family, right? And that took a little while to build up that courage, that confidence to be able to tell my family. And my parents are amazing people, and they really have always loved me and taken care of me. And so I'm really lucky how they reacted when I came out to them. But no, I mean, it's really simple. I was living with my first boyfriend, who I met in high school. I went to university, went to Fresno State, and he was living as my roommate. And he was technically a student, even though he never was, right, at the time. But so we were living together for a little while, and that was crazy that, you move into an apartment with your boyfriend. For me, it's crazy. It's a young age, right? Yeah, exactly.
Like 18, 19.
18, it's crazy, First relationship ever, because, before that I didn't have relationships because I was gay and I was growing up in a small rural community. Right. I was also very religious growing up, so I used to stop and when I noticed I was having these feelings, these urges, these sensations, whatever you feel when you're growing up, right? For somebody who you're attracted to. I would actually stop and pray in the hallway in my high school and be like, oh God, please don't make me this way. Right?
Really?
No, I don't want to be this way. Yeah, very Catholic. But no, then I eventually had my first experience after high school, shortly after high school, and then boom. I realized, okay, I don't want to become a priest like my grandmother wanted me to become. And
so that was a consideration.
Well, it really was, because I was like, well, maybe I was so Catholic, I was like, maybe this is my calling. Maybe I'm supposed to marry God, right? Because this is the way that God has created me. And so that's sort of the brainwashing, that's what I call it now. That's sort of I had, I don't know, grown up with. I went to Catholic school, although I will say my parents were very open-minded people and very amazing people. And so it took a couple years after high school before I came out. I had this amazing experience. I met somebody who actually had gone to my high school before. He had now lived in Miami. He came back to California, and we connected. And he took me out to my first gay bar in Fresno. And I would actually remember going in line. It was called Bam Bam's, really cool place. That's so weird. Yeah. I remember being in line and seeing sort of like all the queers, and being like, oh my God, why are they acting like that? You sort of have this internalized homophobia.
Yeah, because they were out.
They were out and confident and free to being them who they are, right?
And you were still just brand new to that.
Sure, absolutely.
You were still praying at that club.
Well, I wasn't praying at that point. I mean, I
was
was fucking my boyfriend for 2 years at that point, right? So, and so, I was coming along, right? I was accepting it finally for myself, and well, that was a really great experience. And at first, I was a little nervous to even get up there and dance, and then boom, eventually, I started dancing, and I just felt free. Yeah. And you're just free to express yourself. You're in a safe place to be who you are. You don't have people judging you. You don't have people like harassing you. You don't have people like telling you you're going to hell. Whatever, the shit that you deal with like growing up, right?
Wait a second. Well, and this is a question for me. Again, I'm saying this is going to be very enlightening for me. You as yes, you've been sleeping with your boyfriend for 2 years. You're 2 years.
He said fucking.
Am I allowed to say fucking? Is that allowed?
Are we allowed to say fucking?
Joel's
okay, you've been
scared.
fucking.
It's a podcast, right?
I'm trying to be polite. So you've been fucking.
He was
It's the
snaking.
Canadian,
He was
it's a-
snaking.
You were snaking with your
Have you ever heard
boyfriend.
of snaking?
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
You were throwing your sausage down the hallway. What the fuck?
Have you
man?
ever heard of snaking?
I don't know what snaking
It's
is.
when two guys intertwine their penises.
How do you know all this shit? I don't even know.
I'm
what
just
the
kidding.
fuck.
I just made it up.
Yeah. Anyways,
I've done that a few times.
So you've been snaking for 2 years, Sam, and so you're snaking. No, this is a real question. Real question.
But not just my boyfriend.
question.
We broke up. But anyway.
When a rookie comes into the league, they haze the fuck out of him. Like in my high school and for soccer, football, it was called rosing.
Okay.
You jog by and the team didn't tell you, and they threw you into this massive fucking rose bush. You got all fucked up.
Oh my God.
People hold penises and walk around in a circle. All sorts of crazy traditions.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you as a gay guy, like seriously, you're college. You walk into a bar. Do people know that you don't fit in? Do they know that this guy looks like he's a newbie to the scene?
Maybe. I mean, wait. Inside gay bar.
Into the
Yeah,
gay
when
bar.
you went to Medellin.
Maybe. Yeah. Sure. I don't know.
Why are his shoes so shiny and why does he have glitter on his face? What the fuck's going on here?
No, I didn't have that. No. No. Maybe they did, right?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he have glitter on
Why
his
doesn't he
face?
have- That's what I mean. Is there like protocol?
No, I mean, like we're such a diverse community, right? Like we are real, and that's true with you'll find with everything within our community. Like people have different interests, and we come from all backgrounds, like all racial, ethnic backgrounds. We're men, we're women, we're trans, and we have different interests, as diverse interests as anybody else, right? So there's no real sort of fitting in, no sort of box you have to fit in.
There's a reason I asked that question because we talked about it on the last episode, right? Is because I don't know if you experienced because you worked in some real shit.
Yeah.
Like I've had people, they'll look at me with my little flowery shirt and stuff, and they'll be like, "Well, I literally whether I was in Mexico, I was in Canada, they're like, yeah, you're not a real black guy, or you're not no seriously, I get these comments, and I think people expect a certain, and even amongst when I go with certain black folks in a certain neighborhood, it's this guy's different. He doesn't.
He's a Carlton.
He's a Carlton or some shit. He's got buttons. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm
Yes, I
asking.
do know what you're saying. Yeah.
We met a real Carlton though the other night.
His name was. We won't call his name. But
What's his name, Carlton?
No, but he
Close,
was a real
close, very
Carlton.
close.
He talked like Carlton.
All right.
I saw him again. We can't.
Did he
talk.
dance like him too?
Yeah.
Not really. I didn't see him dance. He sat down.
All right.
But
Why'd you say yes then?
Because I assumed that he does.
Oh.
But anyways, we're gonna jump forward, and so you say no. Everybody's. It's
Yeah, I
like
got the bottle over
I mean,
there.
in terms of the community itself, no. No. I was with my friend,
There's no more wrong?
and they were not bothering me, right?
yeah. Okay. So
After that moment is when I knew, okay, I'm I had a really great night with that guy, really hot sex, and it was just and everything was just very enlightening for me. It was very liberating for me, right?
Okay.
And I'm okay, I'm gonna tell my mom, and I took her out to dinner. She lived back in Lemoore, in that small town, 30 minutes away. And I took her out to dinner, and it was hard to tell her. I mean, our priest was sitting in that restaurant 2 tables away, and but I did. I was like, Mom, and I just told her, and she's like, okay.
your priest was the man that help you?
He might have been gay too, though. But he was the new priest. I didn't really know him, right? Yeah. But no, but still, he represented that sort of like big obstacle, that big fear that I had, because my family, being Mexican, very, very Catholic. My grandmother wanted to have a priest in the family, and so it was a bit of a challenge for me. But I did, and then she took me shopping.
Nice.
She's like,
Wow,
shopping.
that's a great mom.
That's a great mom.
That's cool.
for sure.
Yeah, I always thought too. Like for example, if I were to have children, which I hope I do, and let's say one was gay, there would be no way that I would not love them the same way.
Sure.
It would be impossible. Like just thinking about it, and I can't even put myself in the mind frame of someone that wouldn't. Like, oh, that would change my whole mind. It's like your fucking kid. That's your blood. That's
what I think.
flesh. Yeah. So I guess moving on to. Yeah, the coming out story is crazy to me because it's something that is very.
Mine was easy, right? Other people have shittier ones.
Man. In my mind, it's got to be challenging because I've had a couple gay friends in the past and I still know some people that I think are gay today, and we're pretty old now. I mean, we're over 30. That I think they are gay.
Yeah, sure.
But they just haven't come out.
Right.
It's like this guy's got to be gay.
I mean, there's so many reasons. Like, it's all about fear. Like,
Fear, yeah.
Their friends make statements. I mean, my dad used to make really homophobic statements around me, which is why I didn't come out to him. And my mom is the one who told him because I was scared of how I was going to react.
What was his reaction?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it really, it was amazing.
Okay.
He actually asked my mom, well, why didn't he just tell me?
Tell me, yeah.
And my mom explained that I was afraid because of the things he had said, and he started to cry.
He started to cry.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, amazing.
And then he got protective, which is really great of my dad, right?
Yeah.
Because my God, now I'm gonna cry.
No, it's okay.
I don't talk about this.
It's all
good.
Right?
No, I mean my brother was living at the house, and my brother's like this wrestler, like very masculine guy. He's like, if he gives him any shit, we're kicking him out of the house, right? As a way of protecting me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing. My parents. I have a really great family.
But I think that goes to show, and I think it's very important for people to know, I guess, and know your experience, because we know you now as Sam, the business owner that has moved all the way to Colombia and has created something amazing. But who knows if that would have been you if you didn't have that support system, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, that's a huge thing. So I think it's great that we have you on and we're showing people this, because it's another aspect of life. It's not just about Medellin. It's not about Colombia. It's worldwide. This can happen anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is something that we're trying to promote.
Yeah.
I guess coming back to Medellin, we're here in Medellin.
All right.
What is your experience like in Medellin being gay compared to the United States?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I remember you in particular. We were at and this has nothing to do with being gay, but it's just the general idea of being free, right?
Yeah.
Like we were at the park and we're watching a game, one of the partidos, one of the soccer games. Yeah. And, we're able to be in the park and drink and have a good time and drink in public, and it's a non-issue. And you're like, this is what makes Colombia amazing, because of all this freedom that we have here.
I said that?
You said that, yes.
Oh.
And I remember that, and it's true. And I think that was in the context of them, they were trying to restrict drinking in the parks.
Yeah.
Because it was which, of course, they stopped doing.
Yeah.
And it's true. I feel partly, I think it's because being an extranjero, being a foreigner in this country, we have a lot more leeway maybe than people who live here, right? People are like, oh, well, there's these foreigners coming to our country after decades of violence, after decades of nobody coming here. Cool, right?
And so let's welcome them.
Yes. And so I have always felt very, very free here. And then I've done some research, and what's amazing about Colombia is on LGBT equality, you have more rights here than you do in
most states.
A lot of the states back in the United States, certainly in Arizona, where I actually fought for LGBT equality.
Wow. Well, Arizona is very conservative.
It is in the legislative sense. It's pretty sort of like live and let live sort of mentality. That's sort of the Wild West mentality of Arizona, right. Which is really, really cool because, people just do what the fuck you want, right? And the religious conservatives sort of took over and became very powerful. The most powerful political organization in Arizona is the religious right organization, and I used to enjoy debating and going up against Kathy Herod is her name, and I used to fight with her.
Shout out to Kathy.
Yeah, hi Kathy. But I actually like her. Like the thing is, like it's so interesting. Like I think you have to respect people from where they come from,
right,
and their differences of opinions, no matter what, right? Like they come from a certain place. Like even I held these opinions. You know, I used to be, when I was living in Fresno, sort of that person who was like, no, okay, I'm gay, but I don't know if I agree with gay marriage, blah, 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 blah. You know, it takes time to sort of like break through these things that you're taught, right? That's all. Okay. But in terms of Colombia, I mean, you have equality in terms of marriage. You have the right to adopt. Lesbians have the right to conjugal visits in prisons in this country, and it's a constitutional fundamental freedom, right? You know, like these are the things that are listed even on the Constitutional Court's website.
Wow, it's stuff that you don't even think about. Like lesbians having conjugal visits. Can I come in with a camera?
That's obviously the next
there's a right to privacy, right?
What rights to privacy? We don't do that, but we do allow them.
And I know that's not the best example of equality, but it is.
No,
like,
but
you know, it's about sexual freedom, you know, and I love the Colombia for that because, I don't know, like it feels like it's a place that feels very free. People are free to live, you know, as who they are.
So the question, I think one of the things is that, you know, I say being a gay man, you show up here in Colombia. Do you right away feel like, wow, I can be me, I can be free more than in the U.S., or do you think it's the same?
When you come here?
Yeah, you land here, you come off the plane, you land in Medellin, you're like, wow, this is heaven for me, or you're like, oh, I still gotta be on my P's and Q's, I gotta watch out.
Well, I know you're gonna ask about this a little bit later, but in terms of heaven, right? You know, I mean, like, look, like everywhere you go, you want to be safe, you want to be aware that, you know, of the place you're coming into. And I came here 6 years ago. It's a different world now than it was 6 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
every year it seems like it's different.
Yeah, for sure.
So talk to us about 6 years ago.
I mean, Colombia completely changed. Like it was so different. I mean, I don't even know. I can't even imagine it anymore. But like all these things. I mean, you guys can't see this here, but all these like this pizza place across the street was not here, right? Yeah. This sort of gentrification of this area just wasn't of El Poblado, right?
We have literally a gay club on the second floor. Have you been there?
I haven't.
Not in this building.
Right here on Calle 10.
Really?
On this corner, second floor. There's a gay
I've
club.
heard of it, and I haven't been to it.
Yeah,
that's where we're going after.
Really?
No, we're not.
All right, let's do it.
But
I'll go with you.
All right, cool. I think they do a lot of drag shows, and Joel's gonna perform for us.
Wow. Okay.
Things I don't know. Anyway, so continue.
Well, we're talking about change, I guess, and Colombia, what it was. I guess Colombia today as it is, and Medellin as it is. Are you facing any challenges as a gay man in Medellin today?
No, I can't. No, and you know, I think that I want to put a caveat out there. I think the experience is, again, still different for foreigners than it is for people who live here. Part of that is because of your own sort of obstacles and barriers and levels of comfort. You know,
who has more of the challenge?
The local people, right? Because they're in their homes, and you know, a lot of people here locally live still with their families, and so, you know, like if you're gonna go out and meet somebody and date somebody, your family's very sort of metido, right? They're very like involved in your life, and so if you're not out of the closet or if you're just exploring your sexuality,
you're not bringing a guy home or another girl.
You're certainly not. Yeah. Well, even a girl, like, you know, I don't know how that's for straight people. It's not
very
right?
common because you live with your parents till a very late age, and it's very uncommon to bring home overnight guests in your house, even if you are straight.
And for those listening, whether you're gay or straight, something you understand about this culture that in Canada, the thought of a motel. Well, I picture some truckers with lights. You know what I mean?
Or we used to do meth parties. Like we used to go do meth in motels, but like taking a girl to a motel for a romantic night, that was not.
When he said we, I never did meth in a motel.
Did you really do meth?
Yeah, I may have dabbled in mathematics.
All right, wow.
Andrew's a mathematician.
No, I didn't know that. That's actually really interesting.
No. I used to, a little bit, some of you may not know this about me, but I have a dark past,
sure,
I would say. Yeah. And you can read about it, just Google my name. and any drug.
I'm gonna do that right after the
Andrew
show.
Macia, amphetamines.
No, it's not. You can even go something more obscure.
Andrew Machine.
Like
Buprenorphine.
There's an Encyclopedia Britannica of Andrew
They
Macia.
called me the garbage can.
Yeah.
Just do any drug. No. But
I also want to point out I've never had any meth parties. Okay, thanks.
Neither of us had a party.
All right, cool.
well, you were saying that.
I don't know what I was saying.
The meth party threw me off too. I'm like, it ain't no party like a meth coast
No,
party.
actually,
Coast party.
Joel was saying that motels here are very common,
Yes, exactly.
because of the fact that people do live with their parents, not only for socio reasons, right? But also economical reasons.
Yeah.
So it's both social and economical reasons that people are living with their parents for a long
Sure.
time. And it's very common for you to take care of your parents as a like literally in my goal in life is to take care of my parents until they die. Like even
Right.
if they have to live with me, and whoever is dating me or married to me will probably have to put up with that. But that's why
Share a bed, huh?
Put up with that.
well, no, that's why I need to make enough money so that they don't have to live with me all the time.
Downstairs.
Yeah,
3
I'll buy
floors
a
down.
building.
Yeah, it's fine. That's true.
But to his point is that in Colombia, and I think many of Latin American countries, you'll find motels, and they're not like those dingy love motels or whatever. They're actually thematic hotels where you'll see like the Hollywood suite, you'll see the Paris suite with like jacuzzis, showers, stripper pole. Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever seen that?
I've never been to one of those motels, but I have heard a lot about them. Yeah,
Once, it's fucking freaky. Man.
it's so weird, right? Like the thought about it, but like a lot of friends like have talked about it. Yeah, no, we go to the motel.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate to live alone, so I can have guests.
No, but that's
Right,
not okay.
yeah.
So again, I brought this up for a reason because I was dating a girl for a while, and she's like, "I've got a surprise for you. I have my own place at this point, my own place." She's got a surprise for you. I'm like, "Are we going far? Do I need to bring my toothbrush? Or are we overnighting? What the fuck's happening?" And then we start going in this general direction. I've got this perception thing that goes on. I'm like, "Oh no." In my head, I always said, "Oh no," and these lights started flashing, and I saw bright lights saying Ibiza. And those who are listening will know what Ibiza is. And I'm like, "Are we going to a motel?" Because I knew she wanted to like explore and whatever. And it was actually the weirdest experience for me.
Yeah.
Because I got my own pillow. I know nobody's saliva's on there. Nobody's face has been buried in the pillow. Just mine. What? No, it's a gay joke, an inside gay joke. Anyways, but we went to this fucking motel.
I didn't get it, but you know.
No, he should have said that he's been biting his own pillow.
You been biting your pillow?
I said buried in.
Buried.
Man, bro, I don't know how to make gay jokes. Fuck you
All
guys,
right.
man. I ain't no gay comedian.
Okay, I get it
Over
now.
here hoping Joel's gonna make some gay jokes. I don't know gay jokes, but the fact is, it was very weird. And I'm saying the reason I bring this up is that a lot of foreigners might come here, and a lot of girls, especially if you go outside of this area, is not accustomed to going over to any dude's house because the dude doesn't even have a house.
Sure,
He
yeah.
lives with his parents, and so the general thing is, tonight's a big night. We're going to this motel. And I don't know, Felipe over there who's picking up the mic. What about you and your love motels?
Motel, yeah. First of all, that's
There
what
is a
motel
verb.
is.
But there is a verb. Yeah.
Motel, yeah. I would say that's a very accurate description of the situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying. In fact, when I became independent, that was like finally, and
Yeah.
then my mom
Yeah.
came to live with me.
Yeah, your mom came back in.
It's very
I can have
very
sex.
frustrating.
So walk us
Not
through.
anymore.
I got a question for Felipe,
Go
man.
ahead.
Walk us through your first time you were moteleando. You were going to a
Moteleando?
motel. What happened there?
Was it with a dude or a girl?
Was it a dude or a girl?
It was a girl.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it was. I don't know. It was pretty normal up until the love making.
Did
It
you
was
pay?
normal until
What do you
love
mean? Wait, so hold on. Love making is not normal.
It was
You
normal.
giving the corona out on this man with your fucking-
What's the normal
Yeah.
part? We have
Yeah,
no clue
tell
what
us a bit more.
happens.
No, I want to hear this story.
Well, the thing is that we already knew we wanted to do it, so there wasn't a need for me to woo her.
Okay.
As they say. I don't know. Just show up. Hey, I need a room. How much is it? Okay.
No, wait. This is the first time you're going to a love motel and you just confidently said, yo, I need a room. How much is it? I'd be shitting my fucking pants. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. The first time I didn't even know how to put on a proper fucking condom. I'm like, do you roll it on this way or this way? You just like naturally rolled it.
The thing is, my case is kind of particular because while I didn't live alone, my house was alone for extended periods of time because I used to live only with my mom. Now my mom lives with me, and she would travel extensively. So like in weeks and even sometimes weekends, the house I'd be alone in my house, so I can do it in my house.
You could jerk off all day.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I took Manuela to the motel the first time. Nah,
So walking around.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
but
Hey, if you haven't jerked off 7 times in a day, don't talk to me.
So the first time I actually went to a motel, I was already well into my 20s. So that wasn't an issue for me.
Yeah. Okay, so you were older,
An adult,
It wasn't like you were a young buck. Like Joel,
lots of
when he was
experience already.
your first time. Joel was nervous on his first time at 36. What do I do? How do I put the condom on?
I had a heart attack and a coronavirus at fucking 36.
Coronavirus, right?
All right. Well, I guess moving on with Sam's story. This is not the Felipe's sex stories hour.
No, but it's very interesting.
I was already a grown man. It was 28 when I went to a sex motel.
First,
Episode 100.
it was all normal until the love making.
You know what that means. Anybody who wants to write in about that and ask Felipe for a detailed story, sign up to her fucking mailing list and you'll get a voice message from Felipe telling you about his weird lovemaking.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's turn a sharp left turn.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a negative experience as a black man in Medellin? I'm just kidding. As a gay man. As a gay man in Medellin.
You guys got more rights than black men, so fucking tell us right now what you got.
Joel, can you pass the vodka? I'm feeling a little.
So how was your experience as a black gay man?
No, it's no. Have you ever had any negative
I
experiences?
love black gay men, by the way. Just, so you know.
Yeah, but we'll put your phone number up on the screen.
Hi.
You want that? You want the phone number?
No.
This ain't no washroom scribblings and
No,
shit.
I hate
You know,
WhatsApp. No,
yeah.
I don't know. I like answering phone calls. No.
All right. So tell us about any negative experience.
Nothing. I mean, like,
Nothing at all?
honestly, like, I have had really, not about the gay shit, right? Like, maybe about being a foreigner. Like, there was one neighbor who was like, "Oh, you're a gringo?
Oh, really?
Oh, you must just want the prostitutes and the drugs."
And you're like,
And
yeah.
I was like,
Wait, I got so many questions. Like the gay prostitutes?
no, he didn't. It wasn't about gay. It was
Oh,
just
he didn't even know he was gay.
a
He's just
foreigner, right?
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, you're from the United States. Oh, you people just come here for drugs and
Yeah.
prostitutes." I was like, "Okay, I'm at my house. You leave me alone, right?
Yeah.
Like, go away."
First of all, you're kind of hot.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Are you a black foreigner?
No, he was an old.
What kind of prostitutes?
Yeah. So no negative.
Not really. I mean,
experiences.
it's
Ever? You've never had.
in the 6 years that you've been here, never. Wow, that's great.
like,
That's
I don't
that's
think
amazing.
I have. But again, I'm gonna put that caveat out there. I'm a foreigner, so people like are very respectful. This is what I tell my, I work in tourism.
Yeah.
So this is what I tell my customers too. Like, hey, like people generally like are gonna be very respectful of you regardless, like just because like you're here. But what's awesome about Colombia is that their laws are so strong, and people are very respectful of the law in general here, and authority in general. That the law criminalizes is they make it illegal for you to actually harass somebody for a variety of issues, but including for being gay. And so I think people take that into account and they don't then maybe express themselves. Maybe they do in some of the comunas or whatnot, but again, that's a different experience for me as a foreigner than as somebody who's local.
Wow.
Right?
I've got. I guess this whole podcast could be just about your experience, but I want to move on to business because I for me it's one of the biggest reasons why you're here.
Okay.
Let's talk about what you do. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I feel good right now.
Yeah.
What do I
How's
do for
that
a living?
Molly?
I haven't done Molly ever in my life. Actually.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe you should make this Molly. Yeah, you know.
I know.
Do you just want to reach out and love somebody and hug somebody? You can do that to Andrew whenever you want.
It was all normal until the lovemaking started.
It's all normal until
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. We're
I
gonna talk
pulled it
about
out.
that. So
came out like a slinky.
I went in there. I'm like, how much is a room? And then shit got weird. It got real weird. We knew what we both wanted. Shit got weird. So what do you do here, Sam? What are you doing down in Medellin?
Well, now I run a business. It's called Out In Colombia Travel.
What was that again?
Out In Colombia Travel. And
I wonder how you got that name.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You really you want me to answer that? Or?
Yeah, I want you to answer that.
All right. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't very creative, but being out of the closet, you're out, right? And then you're out in Colombia doing things, right? I'm over here out in Colombia, going here, going there, and so it was just sort of this play on words, right?
That's your website, outincolombia.com.
You can find it by that. It'll redirect, but it's outincolombiatravel.com.
Okay. Out in Colombia Travel. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And so I started this in 2016. Just sort of like launched it at that point. I was a little premature. But I had already done some sort of playing around. I had organized a trip for some people who had found me online. I had launched a blog on outinColombia.com, and said, let me try this out and see what could come of it. I wasn't sure I was going to focus on LGBT tourism. And it's focused on, that's our target audience, like LGBT. That's our niche. Because I was done with the gay stuff, right? I had done this for like 10 years of my life, like advocating for gay rights. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I want to do just normal stuff, right? But I saw an opportunity. The LGBT Chamber of Commerce, there's a gay Chamber of Commerce here in Colombia. It's based in Bogota. Had convened all the tourism sector, people in hotels, travel agencies, whatnot, guides, etc., who came to this forum in Bogota, and it was full. It was a room full of people, and I went to it. I said, I need to go to it. This is early in 2016. And there you had presentations from the leader of the gay chamber, who was amazing. His name was Felipe Cardenas. He's really great. You had the U.S. Embassy was represented. The Colombian government and the Bogota city governments were represented, and everybody was saying, like, look, tourism is going to start to become a key part of our strategy to boost the economy in Colombia. Mm-hmm. And we recognize that LGBT tourism is an important part of that. Mm-hmm. Why? Because typically when you think of LGBT tourism, you're thinking about gay men, you're thinking about older gay men who are coupled, who are retired, or who have successful businesses, or who are successful executives. And not always is the case. This is very stereotypical, but generally don't have kids, so they have a lot of expendable income, right? Mm-hmm. So they get to travel, and they travel. So all right, I'm like, okay, I discovered that nobody was doing this, focusing on this niche. Having been...
In all of Colombia or just in Medellin?
In all of Colombia. There really wasn't much going on.
Okay.
And I, being a sort of gay man who came to Colombia as a tourist, knew that already. I couldn't find information online. Anything that was online was in Spanish. And it really was just directing you to the really seedy, sex sites and things like that. That really wasn't interesting to me. I was interested in more of finding community and connections, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, let me start doing that. And I started to blog, in my free time, which there wasn't a lot of free time, and being a project manager for the company. But I did start to blog, and that's how somebody found me and said, hey, I'm looking for a gay guide in Colombia. I'm like, well, I don't know anybody, but maybe I could put something together for you.
So somebody found you through your blog.
Yeah.
Just this blog about what? And was your blog about you writing about your travels as a gay man, or the blog was me as a gay man in Colombia?
It was really about gay life in Colombia. I wanted to tell the story of gay life in Colombia to an English-speaking audience, right? That was the idea. Of course, it didn't really develop, that much, because then I focused and switched gears to tourism and just started diving into that. At the same time, I started a master's program, Master of Sustainability Leadership, through Arizona State University, and it's an online program, and it allowed me to be here while getting this really amazing education. It's interesting because I was always this liberal activist against sort of Walmart and whatnot, but the Walton Foundation, which is linked to Walmart, funded this program, and it was very business oriented, and it was very enlightening.
Wow.
And it was very well organized. Yeah. Taught us about communications and messaging, taught us about sort of strategy, taught us about everything related to and how we take our current work context, mine being starting a business, and turning it into a sustainable business. And so that's why I've made sure that Out in Colombia Travel, our core principles, are rooted in sustainability, which means we're going to make sure that we're promoting tourism that, builds the local economy. It invests in local people. We're spending money here. We're hiring local people. We're hiring local guides. We're generally choosing local chains for hotels. We want to keep the money as much as possible in this economy.
Okay.
Right. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Colombia has an amazingly diverse environment, natural environment. It's one of the most biodiverse countries on the planet. And so how can we protect that? How can we make sure that tourism doesn't contribute to that destruction, but instead actually helps restore it and keep it alive? That's one of the reasons why people come here. And so you can't have the destruction of the natural environment, of the beaches, of the Amazon, of sort of like our beautiful green city here, because then people will stop coming anyway, right? And so then that affects the economic side. And then, of course, the social side. How do we protect and preserve the local culture, not make it another sort of like little America in another part of the world, right? Exactly, not Cancun. But, that we're celebrating local culture, that we're like highlighting local culture, and that we're uplifting local communities, right? We're finding ways to work with places like Casa Colacho and Comuna 13, that are representative of local communities. Always looking for ways to do that. Now, we're not perfect, because part of being a sustainable organization and business is we have to be economically sustainable too, right? So in order to like be able to achieve these objectives, we have to just start making money first, right?
Yeah. Are you making money?
We are making money. We could be doing better, and we will be doing better. We actually just hired a marketing firm who is going to help us just, kick ass. I'm really excited. Our team, we actually have a team. So last year, it was mostly just me with one other person. Then we had turnover. Then I had a medical condition. Then I had to hire somebody else. And then I had another medical condition. And then we hired somebody else. And so, now we have a core team. And they get it, and they're passionate, and boom, we're all ready to kick ass.
Okay. So what is go ahead.
Well, my question before we go any further is, sorry.
Sure. My mic is.
If you had an elevator pitch for your for your company,
yeah, do it.
We're working on it.
Like, okay, so if we were on an elevator right now, for the viewers and for the listeners on podcast.
Well, who am I directing this to? Like
to me,
to client, or is it
like,
you guys are not my target audience. I'm so sorry.
You don't know. We're wearing some flowered shirts. And you don't know. You don't know. Let's say we're in, and I ask you. So, Sam, what do you do in 2 or 3 sentences? How would you describe
30 seconds or so. You want me to say it? Oh my god, I haven't prepped this at all.
Don't prep shit. Just say
it.
Crazy. I hate this. They work in marketing. And this is what they do. And I hate these people for that reason. Yes,
we want you to tell us.
It's interesting because the marketing person who I hired asked me the exact same question, and I'm still not fucking ready. What do we do? I mean, we really provide amazing opportunities for you to connect with the local culture here in Colombia and have a memorable experience that will really be life-changing, and you'll want to come back. I don't know how
that's perfect. Right? I think that was perfect.
Great, but you didn't say, you said you.
Well, I'm saying to you because I'm talking to my customer, right?
You also said me and Andrew and I, who's your target audience?
All right, no, that's good. I mean, our target audience are primarily, we talk about LGBT, but I think it's also very important to be authentic in saying that. Yeah. Like LGBT has just sort of become like the language that we use, but really we're focusing on gay men. Most of our clients, have been from age 50, 60, and even up to 75, right? These are older men that are just wanting to travel the world, right? And so usually they're they're with their pareja, they're with their partner. I forget.
Spanish.
It's so strange. And they're traveling, and they want they want what everybody else wants, like whether it's culture, adventure, dining. It's the same stuff that anybody wants, but they want to know that somebody understands their experience. Somebody understands what they're looking for.
Right.
Somebody knows and has done the work to identify the companies and the hotels where they can actually just be themselves, hold hands, maybe give each other a kiss, and nobody's going to say shit, right? Yeah. And that's what we've done. We've actually done a lot of work. We only sell products and services that we have actually firsthand experienced.
Right.
So that we know, like, that they're gay friendly in the sense that
who's talking to these people? Who's talking to these people? Like, somebody contacts you. Are you picking up the phone?
Oh, that's
me.
For sure.
Is it you?
Mm-hmm.
It's all you.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's 3 of us on the team. We're a core team and awesome. My team that's really awesome. But so we have a logistics coordinator. They're the person who's just like dealing with like our suppliers, like the hotels, the guides, booking everything, making sure they're getting paid, etc. Right? Yeah. We have our experience manager. So once I make the sell, I pass it on to our experience manager. That person then is Colombian, he's bilingual. He is engaging with that client from the point that I make the sell to the point that they leave the country and even after, right? Mm-hmm. So at least that's the ideal. Like really, we're all doing everything because we're all sort of learning at the same time. But that's the idea. So yeah, I'm the one, usually they contact me through our website. Mm-hmm. And they come to our website, they fill out the form and they say, hey, I want to come to Colombia. What do you have for me? And it's custom made.
But is that what they're asking? They're saying, I want to come to Colombia. What are the questions? What are the pressing questions that a gay man that's never been to Colombia is trying to ask you before he comes here?
No, it's very generic. So like it's very limited, and so I have to extract that information.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's like I want to come maybe for 10 days, if they even say that. Like they may just say I'm thinking about Colombia next year. And so then I have to request information. So we have a standard, we've automated it a little bit now, but we have a standard questionnaire that we ask people. It's like, for what's your budget? Yeah. Because if you don't have a budget, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Like, you could find your information online. It's just the truth, right? Two, it's like, okay, so what are the destinations you're interested in? What do you like to do when you travel? Is it beach? And if it's not beach, a lot of people are not beach, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. Then we're not going to send them to Cartagena or the coast, right? Yeah. Is it sort of like culture? Is it history? Is it food? Is it, what is it that interests you when you travel? And then of the destinations that we've listed on our website, we know which interests you the most. Things like that, like how many people are in your group, and then boom, I create a profile, and then I can customize the package for you.
And I having a tourism company in Colombia, or at least in Medellin, how difficult was it for you to set up shop?
I mean, to get set up right away, it happened in like 3 days with
the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, I mean,
bank accounts.
I didn't do any of that stuff. Alan Gongora, who's you guys might all know.
Episode 4 of the Medellin podcast.
Right,
cool. Sorry, episode 5.
Episode 5. All right, cool. Amazing lawyer here, and expat has his legal team. Set everything up for me, and they did it in a matter of 3 days, right? And they really worked their ass off and got it done. But they're experts; they know how to do this stuff. I don't want to deal with that, right?
So you suggest people to go through an expert, or would you say, hey, wing it?
You could wing it. I mean, but it's going to take longer, right? You're going to have to go to and you have to know the language.
Yeah.
Like if you don't speak Spanish, then hire somebody else to do it for you. Right. But and even if you do know the language, it's still confusing. These are very technical terms. I know Spanish, but there's just things that confuse the fuck out of me, right? And so it's just easier. Just hire somebody. It's going to cost a little bit of money. Do it. It just saves you time. And with that, I was able to get my own visa and be sort of self-sufficient.
So you're on the business owner visa?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And, was there an initial investment when you started the business?
Yeah, unfortunately, my mom, really kind of saved my ass, and she invested the money that I needed to. She invested it into the business. It's a personal loan, but and then boom, I used that. And at the time, sorry, I'm gonna move this if this is okay. At the time, immigration wasn't as strict. They didn't really need to see proof that you had made that investment. They just needed to sort of see that the investment was made, and your accountant certified it.
Okay.
Now they're much more strict. But I had moved the money, so so I later on when I had to renew my visa. They required the documentation to show it. I had the documentation. Okay.
Right? The funny thing is, at least growing up, call it 20s into 30s, I'd always heard about, I assume a gay couple is a power couple. You ever heard of?
I've heard of
at least heterosexual power. No, but it's power couples. I worked in telecom. And if you found out that this guy that was a director had a boyfriend or a husband that was another director, motherfuckers are making money.
The gays around the world.
They
really do.
But literally, that's what I'm thinking. It's two guys, women, everybody's fighting to be equal. Mm-hmm. Women got fucked up the deal in this whole equation. Right. Black women got the worst fucked up in the world. Absolutely. They're at the bottom of fucking everything.
Yes.
Sad. That's sad as fuck. But I always picture two guys traveling. It's you guys, much as two white guys traveling, you guys gotta 18 feet up, not just 1 foot up on everybody
Yeah,
else.
for sure.
And so you mentioned something about like you'd have to ask, like, oh, what's your budget? What's your whatever? But now, so your main clients are 50 years old and up?
I mean, it has been that way. It's fallen that way. Like people, they're the ones who are traveling, right?
They got the disposable
they
income.
have the income. They have the
time.
freedom, the
Yeah.
time, exactly. And so they're the ones traveling. People who, and what I'm finding is that there are people that we're not capturing them yet, and we're going to because we have an awesome marketing team and they're going to help us do it. Is that there are still a lot of people coming here to Colombia who are gay. Just sort of like for their weekend trips, like maybe from Miami or from New York, right? Just for sort of like quick trips on their own. Like when I travel, I'm a budget traveler.
Okay.
So I would not be my target audience, right?
Okay.
You know, like because I'm looking for like just spending least money as possible, right? But like there are people that want really quality experiences. And so there's a hotel in the Islas de Rosario off of Cartagena that's $600 a night. Yeah. We're not selling that to everybody. We're selling that to the people that want to spend that money for that type of experience. Right?
And what's the average amount someone spends on an experience with?
It's really difficult to figure out, but I would say a good amount of money to spend is about $4,000 to $5,000 per person for a 10-day trip. So, and that will take you to 3 different cities, 3 different
So
destinations.
the Colombians listening to that, and I don't want to talk
that's
about
true.
current exchange rate 4,000 to 1. We're talking about for 10-day vacation.
That may change with the current exchange
It could.
rate.
I mean,
I
it could
haven't
change.
done
It could
that
change.
calculation.
As of today's rate, you're spending 16 to 20 million pesos in 10 days for a vacation. You could as a power couple.
But of course, you know, we're offering a really complete package, and it's a very personalized service.
Yeah.
And it's we have a 24/7 concierge service. You're getting really personalized attention. Like you have us all the time, right?
Yeah.
And we work. I mean, and my team is awesome. Like they get it, and they're always available. Like like I can message them at midnight because the client needs something, and they will jump on it, right? Because they get it.
That's what people are paying for.
Yeah, and that is what they're paying for, and that's what they want. We just need to make sure that everything is going well for them. So project management comes into play here, right? This is where it's a strength for me, making sure that I'm project managing all of our suppliers across the line. Like, you know, they understand that, you know, we can't have 4 people in what they call a duster here, right? Like in an SUV, because there's going to be 3 people in the back, and that's not comfortable for our clients, right? Now that may be cheaper, and that maybe what sort of what, but that's not comfortable for our clients. So we need a better experience for them, right? So that's what we're always doing and always working with our suppliers. And we have there's so many awesome like suppliers, like people working in tourism, the tourism industry, who want to do like an exceptional job for our clients.
Gotcha.
Sam, I know you've been through some health issues. Can you tell us what's been going on with your body?
A lot of shit.
Literally.
Well, you got diarrhea?
Yeah, some of that. Yes, actually, you know, I did.
Colon?
A lot of stuff happens. I mean, like, look, a year and a half ago, September, I don't know.
11th?
No, not 11th, but close. You know, I fell down a waterfall. I nearly died.
What?
Did you know
Just
that?
don't just jump over this story.
God. I remember that.
It's a long story.
So you were was that you were like tour guiding or something?
Yeah, I was with a client, actually, yeah.
And you fell down.
He was from New York, and
you fell down a waterfall.
So he wanted to do adventure stuff, and we hadn't done a lot of adventure stuff. So I learned from this experience, make sure we really vet our suppliers. But we went with the top, and this is also a lesson for people out there. Like, don't necessarily go with the number 1 person on TripAdvisor, because like they maybe get positive reviews, but they may not have all their shit together. And so, you know, we went on this really amazing like nature hike up in Cisneros, which is a little bit north of Medellin. Out in the middle of nowhere, a really cool experience. And then we got to this really like majestic waterfall, but it was fucking high. Like we didn't know what we were getting into before we got there, but he wanted to do rappelling, sort of like, you know, going to rock climbing basically down a waterfall. Okay, we're going to do it. Because we're custom design sort of type of agency. And so we did it, and we found this amazing agency, and they turned out to, you know, hire somebody who they were actually really good, but they didn't have everything in order, and they didn't give us the proper training. But we had to climb up this fucking mountain, like me, my fat ass, like climbing up this mountain, and I did it, like, you know, and it was, I was very proud of that experience, and we're at the top of this huge ass waterfall. It was huge, and they're like, okay, we're ready. We need to go down. And I'm like, well, we don't know what we're doing. Like, what do we need to do? Like, okay, well, we're going to practice a few times up here. And like, okay, if you lean forward, this was their advice. If you lean forward, you're going to die because you're going to fall. What you need to do is you need to lean back, and your brake, your freno, your brake is your right hand or your strong hand, whatever it is. So you're holding the line right here, and boom, this is your brake, and you're leaning back. This is for people who are really fit and very skilled already in this experience. You shouldn't go out there with just any random people. I obviously am not fit, and I had never done this before. And so we thought we were going to get some training. No, not until we were at the top of this waterfall that we got the training. And but I insisted that we practice. And so we did. And in the practice, I did what you weren't supposed to do. I leaned forward because you start falling, right? And you're like, oh. And naturally, you want to grab the line in front of you. Mm-hmm. Well, if you do that, you're going to fall to your death. There's no way. Like, There's just no, like, holding yourself up. And they're like, okay, you're ready. It's like, no, we're not. Like, they're like, look, we're going to send somebody down on a separate line. You know, he's going to hold your line so that in case things happen. Well, okay. I'm like, okay, well, then I'm going to go first. And I'm afraid of heights. But it was just amazing. I'm not going to lie. It was an amazing experience to be at the top of this waterfall. And you're just doing it, right? But there were two moments in my experience where I almost fell to my death. And one of it, like the guy he did have my line, right? And so it saved my life. Because the water was like, the rock was like this, and the water was falling over you, and you're just like hanging, and hit my line. The next time he slipped, the guy who was supposed to save my life, right, slipped and didn't have my line, and I had my right arm sort of connected, and I felt it like really strong, like, and I'm like, okay, if I didn't have that really strong connected, this inexperienced person, I would have fallen to my death, like at that point. So I got to this spot where they were at the middle ground, right? We did 80 meters rappelling down the waterfall, and then we were going to do another 60. But we got to this middle point, and I was like, okay, no, I need to let my client know and my friend who was helping me with the business at the time know what they're going to get into so they can make an informed decision, because we didn't know what the fuck we're getting into. But he didn't have a radio.
Oh, no.
So that put us in this dilemma, right? I'm like, there was somebody down this way we had to get to. We had climbed up on a rope to get up to where we were before, who had the radio. She tried to get to us. She couldn't. You know, I didn't hear what she was saying, but the guide who I was with said, hey, no, it's fine. I go down here all the time. You can just sort of slide down this rock. It's a very steep rock, about 7 to 10 meters, right, of a drop. And then you got to some land. And I was like, okay. I was more concerned about the safety of my client. And so I'm like, I need to make sure I get them this message before they start going down this waterfall and they die, right? That was my concern. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go. He's like, okay, you could do it. And you're sort of on this steep rock, slippery, wet rock on the side of the mountain. The waterfall's right here. This is all wet. You know, this is the side of the waterfall. And I just sort of stepped out with his hand, and it was all over. I just like slid down this like 7 to 10 meters sort of like side of a mountain, and boom, and then into a hole that was full of rocks and water.
Oh, wow.
And then he came tumbling down after me and landed on top of me. Yes.
Oh, fuck.
I couldn't breathe. Like, and I felt blood in my mouth, and it turned out I had fractured 10 of my ribs.
Wow.
10 of my ribs. 10 of the 12, I think.
No, you had 10.
We have 12, I think. And I had punctured my lung, so I was coughing up blood on this mountainside. And I fractured 3 fingers and my clavicle, my collarbone. And it was a bit of a nightmare, right? It took 9 hours to get to the emergency room, a real emergency room in Medellin. We're far away.
9 hours to get to an emergency room?
Yeah, he was in Cisneros.
Yeah, it was in the middle of nowhere, right? Yeah. And it took a long, and I'm really grateful for the people that saved my life, because it took, I think it was 26 men from the village. I told this story recently to a friend, and it's weird, I get all emotional, but I haven't told this story before. It took 26 men to freaking carry this fat ass down the mountain. Like, if you really think about it, like, it was exhausting for these guys, and they stuck with it. It was a long way. And it was a long way. I mean, it took hours to get up there, and then it took another 2 hours to get down, right? on a stretcher that wasn't sized for me, right? So, every time they had to lower me down rocks like this, right? And like rotate the stretcher and lift me back up over rocks until we finally got to a path. And it took forever. And, I was screaming because every time we twisted a turn, I was in pain, right? And my fingers were being crushed against the rocks. But that being said, the rescue party was great. They probably do need to implement some sort of real emergency rescue system here where you have helicopters and in Phoenix where I lived 10 years ago, people hike up this mountain in the middle of the city, and they have a helicopter rescue system. It's sort of lacking here, I think. But the healthcare was, once I finally got to an emergency center, a trauma center in Medellin, amazing, top notch. They operated on me. They put 3 sort of titanium plates on and I have those now, on my ribs, and boom, I was out. I was there for 10 days or so, but it's cool. That was the first experience. Wow. I've had a few other surgeries, but I trust the healthcare system here in Colombia.
Was it just the few other surgeries after? Is that a result of that accident?
No, not at all. They're just other situations that have come up. Yeah.
Okay. And how has that made you think more about your health after that whole mountain experience, or what's your, are you more conscious of your health now, or are you just fuck it, we're gonna die all?
No. It's interesting because I stopped being religious at a certain point, but in that moment, as I was falling down, I said a prayer, and I said, if this is it, it's it, but hopefully it's not, and please don't let it be, and let me survive this. And I survived, right? It's so scary. But no, it actually has taken a while because it took a long time to recover from that. 10 broken ribs took a year or so for that to sort of start to really be in a place where, okay, I could do something. And then I got sick again, and then I was traveling, and then I was sick again, and I had a few different operations. Even recently, I had an operation on December 31st, New Year's Eve, and I went to the hospital on the 30th, which is my birthday, and then I had another operation shortly after this past January. But because of that, I haven't really been able to focus on health, physical, fitness and whatnot, until recently. And finally, I got through a big trip that I had to organize, and I said, this is it. I'm done with it. I was still on the trip, actually. I was still in Bogota, and I was I'm going to the gym. And there's a gym in the hotel. I'm going to get there. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been working with a trainer who has been kicking my ass, and I'm so grateful for it because I think it's so important to be physically fit.
Wow, that's a crazy story. I didn't know that. I remember you posted some pictures being in the emergency room and stuff like that. I was oh, you fell down a waterfall, and
I thought it was a bouncy park or something.
Yeah, it was one of those small things that you see out here in San Rafael or whatever. It's not a big waterfall.
80 meter.
Yeah,
80 meters.
Yeah.
Well, on a positive note, are you dating anyone?
No.
Wait. Hold on. He just said no. What does that mean?
About the past year and a half has been a bit tumultuous, right? It's been a little crazy, and I just haven't really been interested.
You know what I like about the gay community? You guys use words that no straight man uses.
Tumultuous.
Is
that a word?
And gorgeous and all these stuff.
Gorgeous. Thank you.
Tumultuous. Who the fuck says
all right.
tumultuous?
So, I guess flipping the switch here into dating and entertainment and just lifestyle as a whole. I think dating is a big part of being young and being and being free in Colombia, as you stated. So, what is the dating scene like for a gay guy in Medellin?
Are you talking about a gay guy or a gay foreigner?
Well, for you. Both, I guess.
I'm not a gay Colombian, so I can't.
But you've dated, I'm sure you've dated, or some.
They must have, the Pillow Talk must have told you what it's been like.
Pillow Talk?
Usually Pillow Talk? So you guys don't talk about, they don't be hey, it's tough for me,
For sure. Yeah, I guess in a sense. Well,
I guess for you.
It's been a lot different than back in the States, right?
How so?
Better?
I think maybe this is probably a common experience for a lot of foreigners coming to Colombia, right? You I didn't really necessarily have a lot of confidence in myself when I came here initially, but I was I'm I was stepping out to do different things. I'm like, I want to find a boyfriend, I want to do something. And I met an amazing guy who was my boyfriend for the first year or so, like, here and in the United States and whatnot. And it was fantastic.
Colombian guy?
He's a Colombian dude, yeah.
Okay.
He's back in the States now.
Okay.
He's been there for quite a while. But so remember there was that transition period. Like I came here, when I came here a year later, like he actually went back there because he had a different dream, a different vision, and I wanted to be here, right? I don't know, like it's fun. I think it's very similar to probably other sort of like straight men, right? Like you come to Colombia and all of a sudden you get a lot of attention because you're the exotic person, right? You're like somebody who's foreign, you're different, especially when I came, right? I came here 6 years ago. And boom, like my friends would tell me, oh, you're carne de cañón, like, you're cannon fodder, like, people are going to be going after you, like, left and right. And that kind of was the experience, right? And so that's a totally different experience than back in the States, right? Being sort of like what my friend used to say. He's like, like, everybody's a go-go boy somewhere in the world. To find happiness, go there. And in a sense, like, coming to Colombia, like, as, like, a gringo, right? You sort of have that experience. You get a lot more attention because you are just so different than what everybody else, has already seen like over and over again. At least it's been my experience.
I've been looking to be a go-go boy for girls, I guess.
Yeah.
But now the coronavirus hit, so I can't even go to like Poland or Czechoslovakia where they've never seen like a colored man before. So I gotta stay out here.
Poland or Czechoslovakia?
Yeah, I gotta stay out here. Like they got the coronas over there, and I don't want to get no corona. But okay, so I guess dating has been fun. What's the craziest thing you've done out here dating wise?
I'm not gonna talk about that. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like,
talk about crazy shit.
Crazy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Not crazy. Well, okay. Let me rephrase it. Let's step it back a little bit. What was the funnest date you've ever had?
Oh, God,
Do you remember the funnest date? Was it something that you insinuated or?
I mean, you have to understand. The
Initiated.
gays were very direct, right? So,
Well, I don't know. You guys are very direct.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're just like, let's just get to the point.
I didn't say it. He said, gays, we're very direct. That's good.
So
Felipe has to put in something about.
Look, I remember being in college and
experimenting?
no.
Oh.
But,
Never?
But no. But we had a group of friends, and one of them was gay, and I remember he once said, straight dudes have it so tough because they have to like play around and woo the girl and conquistar, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
If two gay guys want to fuck, these are his words. He was saying in Spanish, but these were his words. If two gay guys wanna fuck, they just go and fuck.
Is that true?
I think that's true. Yes, I mean, and because there's a lot of like social sort of like pressure built on a woman, right? They have to preserve their virginity, they have to be pure, all this bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So they have to play this part.
Yeah.
That's not to say that women aren't horny as fuck, right? But they sort of tend to have to like sort of play this part. So it's a little bit like more of a cat and mouse game, right? Whereas you have apps, you have like you're like I want to hook up. You look great. Let's meet up. Great. You have a place. Fantastic. Let's fuck. And it's really easy to get laid here.
So one of the questions that have been burning my mind through. It's really easy to get laid here. That's what he said. So one of the things that heterosexual males coming here, many of them, and I think they just don't really have a clue about women at home either. Is they come here and then they're complaining about all these women just want their money. They just want their money. Just want their money. I have, in my entire 8 years here, never met a woman that just wants my money because I don't have any. And that could be why. But I've never.
Are you getting laid?
I mean, I don't do badly.
I mean, you should have that sort of black vibe for you, right?
I got the black vibe and the colored shirts. So I don't do really badly for myself. But I've never complained that there's women trying to get my money and trying to, make me pay for their stuff and whatever. In general, I've had it pretty good.
It's funny because I ran this question by somebody, like because you had sort of sent this to me in advance.
Yeah.
to a friend who I was actually out on a lunch date sort of ish with today. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to give you my portion of money. I think it's all very situational, right? It is like, and I think like in each situation you have to evaluate it. Like I like very nice things. I'm gay.
Yeah.
I like nice things.
Well, so does Joel. He's not gay.
Right, but it's stereotypical, right? If you like nice things and you want to sort of like take somebody out to join you, there's a reality that like in general, not in every case, but like there's a lot of poverty here in Colombia, right? I think like 65% of the people are technically considered living in poverty. And, we come from countries with resources, whether or not we're rich or not, we're struggling, but it's still the perception that exists. And we do tend to have a little bit more flexibility with our money probably than folks who are, earning minimum wage jobs here in Colombia. And so I think it's important to sort of take that step back and recognize that. Like when you're asking somebody out, you're like, hey, let's go somewhere special that I like, that's cool, and it'll give you a new experience. I'm not going to expect this person to give their full or 2 days salary
Exactly.
For that meal. Like,
But is it generally that if you're a gay foreigner here, is it, and I mean generally a guy would ask a girl out in a heterosexual relationship, right? In general, and then here a guy expects that, hey, I asked this girl out. Most guys would expect that, hey, I'm paying for her because I asked her to go out. Is it then also in the gay community, foreigners that coming here, if you say, and I don't know how it works in the U.S., hey, I want to take you out, is it then, are you generally expected to pay for that, or is it different?
I think it's just situational, right? Like
Just
I've gone out with people and they've insisted sort of on paying half the bill. But in most cases,
But is that social? Is that social economic? Is that those people were close or near equal to your economic status?
Yeah, I think that's
so
it. Like exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it's hard to date out of your social class, right? It just always is, no matter what country you're in. Yeah. And generally, if you're a foreigner coming here, you're at a elevated sort of social class in sort of a third world country. I mean, like we have to acknowledge that Colombia still is a third world country and an impoverished country, even though it's still like it's a developing country.
But
right?
But you just said something, and I want to stick a pin there because this is really important stuff. You're saying it's very difficult. Doesn't matter where to date outside of your social.
It
your
is,
social class.
right?
For me, from my earlier part of my life, before 30s, I always used to date people under my social class. I mean, I always had more money than them, and in my 30s, I dated equal or perhaps above that. But do you feel then that what's your advice then to well, firstly, before I get there, so you're saying you do not date, and you find it really difficult to date people that are more, call it poverty line? And why?
It's hard because I'm a social justice sort of like type of person, but I think it's just an acknowledgement like that there are just cultural differences and there are expectations. So these guys that are complaining about people are taking advantage of them, it's because they're having to foot the bill all the time and they're used to sort of a different experience back in their country dating people of their social class, right? Yeah. And so that's what I'm trying to say here. I think like there are just different cultural norms. First of all, there's already a cultural clash because of the different countries you're coming from, the different cultural standards and barriers. But then you're also dealing with sort of like financial issues and like, it's a reality. My mom pointed it out to me at one point. She's like, well, what do you expect from this person? They want a better life for themselves, so they're gonna go for something better, and of course, like, why shouldn't they? And why shouldn't they have the right to do that, right?
Of course,
and so it's challenging, right? Because then there's people like me who are very sort of emotional, right? Who get into these things because of emotions and love and affection, and so like everything just can get complicated if you just sort of aren't aware of these dynamics. That's all.
Okay. And what's your advice to gay man in the, call it, middle class coming here? You're same thing. He's emotional. He's not just looking for a hookup, or he's looking for a hookup, but after the hookup, he's looking for something serious. What would your dating advice be to a man, a foreign man coming here for the first time dating a local guy?
Simply be clear on your expectations, right? And be clear on sort of communicating that to the person you're going to go on a date with, right? So that you're not attracted, because like you can attract also a different type of people. People come here to go what's easy, and what's easy is maybe are people that are looking for sort of type of connection. But it might take some work, to learn the language, right? Like get to know the culture, sort of understand the differences, that connect between your culture, so that you can make sort of these connections, right? Take your time and be patient. That's all. Right?
Would you rather lick a white woman's vagina or fall down the rock slide again?
What? So
That's a very serious question. That's a serious. I'm trying to ask you a question. Would you rather? Would you rather fall back down and break your
10 more ribs? How many you got, man?
Break your ribs?
I won't even get on the back of a freaking motorcycle right anymore, because I'm just so freaked. It's trauma, right?
So
fuck that bullshit. I'm going to lick the vagina.
All right, Joel.
And then I'm going to wash it out with mouthwash, because
No, with alcohol. That's what the coronavirus says now.
yeah.
Or not the
Man,
coronavirus.
you've been sitting there thinking about this nonsense. This man was talking about this.
He put it against the hard place and the wet place.
Yeah.
both places were wet.
Joel.
Well, hopefully she's wet.
You
I
asking
don't
me
know.
what you
I
rather?
got a question.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so you let a guy touch your penis. Touch your penis like that. But without clothes. It has to be flesh on flesh. Would you rather let a gay guy touch your penis or let a woman fart on your face?
I think that's pretty much a tie for me.
No, there's no ties. There's a gun to your head right now.
Well, I'd be like, whoever gets it first, man. Like, I don't have a problem with, I mean, if a guy, what do you mean touch my penis? Is he going like this, or is he just like touching it? Like, I don't mind. Why not? He can touch my penis. Fucking touch it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just your
fucking skin.
This is Joel's coming out podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I don't know. I won't vomit if he touches my penis, but I would vomit if it farts really bad on my face.
Yeah, that's
I don't
gross.
wanna
Especially
vomit. I
if
don't
she sharts.
vomiting. Yeah,
That's really
sharts.
gross.
Like, I'm not
Gosh.
into sharts. It's good.
Okay,
I know
okay.
you want somebody to come with some sick ass question to you, but I can't. You just stunned me with that one. I didn't see that one coming out anywhere. You know what I mean? Would I rather a woman fart on my face or a guy touch my penis?
No, that's just my weekend right there.
Medellín podcast.
The meth
It is
guy.
Friday.
We
The
got
meth guy
David.
is having women
Hey,
shart
put
in
that
his
mic
face.
up there. David's sitting over there.
Well,
ask David to ask a question. David,
No, wait,
we
David.
want to add the audience question.
Yeah, we have
Go
David.
ahead.
David is a
Turn the
crazy
camera on and turn the
Australian,
camera
by the
on.
way.
So he's gonna, if he says any fucked up shit, he's on camera too. So we're gonna turn it. Dang, you can't lift the chair. You've been
All right, David.
it's like weak ass.
David has a question.
What's your question?
What's your question?
No, yeah, I remember you had a question about some money. Like if
Some
what was
money?
the craziest
What
thing
kind
or
of
something
questions
like
you
that. You had a crazy question for us.
He was high at the time. I mean, he might be coming down.
Yeah, he might still be high.
I think weed is cheap in Colombia, so David just fucking went off on
What's
some-
the weirdest thing you've ever done for $10?
The weirdest thing you've ever done for $10.
I've never done anything for $10. I'm too expensive. Sorry.
Ooh.
That's
$20
weird.
man.
Let me think about it. The weirdest thing I've done for $10. It wasn't weird. When I was in jail, I played chess. That's how I made my
For
money in chess.
$10?
Well, I made $10 eventually. It was like 50 cents a game. And I had zero money. Eventually, I
Would
made
you
$10.
let a gay
That
man
was the
touch your
weirdest thing.
penis for $10?
Would I let a gay man touch my $10? What is that? That's 40,000 pesos. Yeah.
All night, right?
that's
Make
like-
some money. Make some money.
Yeah. I'm not
That's
afraid
an
of people
invitation,
touching
yeah.
me.
You're not afraid of people touching you?
No.
What the fuck? Who am I talking about over here? I may not know this guy we're talking about over here anymore. Okay.
All right, so second question. Waffle stomping. Is it good or bad for the environment?
Oh. Yeah. Waffle stomping is great
Why are you
for
looking at
the.
me?
Waffle
I mean, with the toilet
stomping.
paper shortage right now.
It's very convenient. Hey, and we're talking about some real important stuff, some lifestyle stuff. Right now, we've got this Corona SAR C2B RK, whatever it's called, haunting the world. And I don't fucking know the letters, the alphanumeric name to it. Sam, don't
It's
judge me.
COVID-19.
Yeah, whatever.
COVID.
But anyway, so a very big problem.
Coronavirus something 19.
Very big problem in the United States and Canada. And I think
And
it's
here
gonna
in
hit
Colombia,
here
it
soon.
arrived here.
So we were
not
talking about
the
waffle
virus,
stomping,
not,
though.
Exactly, not the virus. It's not the virus. What's happening is there was this craze of people at Walmarts, from what we hear down here, buying up all the toilet paper. Right? They're buying up all the toilet paper. So, my sister's got 2 kids. She can't get toilet paper to wipe the kid's ass. So now in Australia, they have this thing where, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no toilet paper.
It's weird.
So at this point, you trapped at home. You can't leave. You got no toilet paper. At that particular point, you have to do what the Australians call waffle stomping.
Yeah, and it's a very economical way and ecological way of taking a dump.
Yeah.
You do it while you're taking a shower, and you stomp it down on the
While
drain.
you take a shower.
Yeah.
You can turn the water off.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like prep for sex, for gay sex.
Oh, I never thought about that. Maybe all of the Australians are gay.
Wait,
No,
what?
Never thought about
You
that.
fucked up my whole waffle stuff. Sounds like gay prep for sex. I don't even know.
No, prep for gay sex.
Oh, I got a question for you. So,
Wait, what is waffle stomping? Wait, can
waffle stomping is when you take a dump in the shower and you stomp it down
Okay,
the drain
you
so it
explain
looks
that.
like a waffle.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the grates in the freaking
Yeah.
it's like a waffle coming out. Yeah. Stomp it deep.
So when I was in jail,
That's
no, I'm
gross.
just kidding. Well, I have another question
It's not
for you.
that
So,
gross if you
what
wash
is
your
your other? I was going to ask you. Oh yeah, what is the races that you have dated? Like guys, like it's been Latinos, Colombians.
I mean, since I've been in Colombia, it's a
Yeah.
lot of Colombians.
What about before? Had you ever had?
I mean, I come from
relations?
a multiracial background. I mean, all my social group was very multiracial. That's kind of the beauty of the United States, right? I mean, sure, people self-segregate and whatnot, but I grew up in California, like in a military town.
So
there's people of all
you've
kinds of
had
backgrounds there.
relationships with a military guy.
I'm sure I have. Yeah, I've had relationships.
What about with a Muslim?
hundreds of guys?
Hundreds?
Yes. Yeah.
Hundreds.
Muslim guy?
Muslim guy,
Interesting.
a Jewish guy.
I don't know actually, because there's not a lot of Jewish. It's not like New York. California's like a little bit
Right,
different,
yeah.
right? There's like not a lot of Jewish folks, and there weren't a lot of Muslims where I grew up. But there were some sexy Muslims at my university in Arizona. But I don't think
I want this as part of the teaser. There were
I
some
did
sexy
actually. I did.
A Muslim or a
Yeah,
Jewish?
like a Muslim dude, like who I don't remember from what country he was, but he was.
He was from the Muslim country.
Well, he was a migrant, right? And so they were connected. It was cool.
So what's your app? What's your go-to app? What's your go-to app for dating?
I don't use the apps anymore so much, but when I first came down here, it was Grindr and Scruff. Actually, Scruff is
Say
very
what?
Wait, what?
Scruff.
Like
Have you heard
grab
of
him
Scruff?
by the scruff of the neck?
Like it's like Scruff, like scruffy dude. Right here.
Oh.
Felipe, my barber. I apologize for him touching my fucking beard on camera. It's not his fault. He doesn't.
Sorry.
He doesn't- only one gay guy could touch it. That's Felipe. Wait, he's not gay though.
Yo,
All right, so
Scruff is an
Scruff.
amazing
All right,
application,
so
actually.
guys that are coming down here and want to get dates or just have a little fun, do the dirty Sanchez or the Spanish
Yeah, I
bow
mean, it's
tie,
easy to hook up online,
or the
yeah.
Jewish nose, or
I don't know
the Polish ears. You've never done the Polish ear?
I have no idea. I'm sure I did, but I don't know what I don't really put a name to it.
Yeah, so if you guys are coming down here to
Polish
do that,
ears.
just go on Scruff, go on Tinder.
and do some Jewish
Like
nose.
Tinder, not so
What the
much.
fuck is
Like
that?
I think it exists,
Yeah.
right? But that's more for the more serious people.
The
that,
Tinder-
like,
what,
that want to
Tinder?
date before you hook up.
Tinder or Grindr?
Tinder.
Oh.
No, Grindr is like let's just. Fuck,
Every time
right?
I go on Tinder, like I had a profile recently, and I'd be on it. So this is my beef with gay people.
Let's hear Andrew.
This is my
Andrew
beef.
He's
with
jealous.
Jackson's
He's jealous,
beef with gay
bitches.
people.
This
Tell
is
us
my gay beef.
Okay.
Is that I'm on Tinder and I'm heterosexual and I have no problem with gay guys at all. But I'll get on Tinder and I'm scrolling, and then all of a sudden, it's not even a guy dressed as a girl. It's just a guy. He's like Jose, and he's like lifting his shirt, and I'm like, wait, how did you get into this film?
Sneaky motherfucking Jose.
Sneaky Jose.
Always in there. There's
Like-
always a sneaky Jose.
That means all you hetero guys, there's a good portion of you that are looking for somebody like Jose. Because
and I
he
think
wouldn't be
that's
doing
why-
it. He wouldn't be
because
doing it.
Jose is in there
otherwise.
hooking him, right?
Yeah.
He's hooking him. He's like, okay, if I put that I'm a female, but I'm really a male, and I'm looking for other males.
How's
I
your
like
brother,
them.
by the way?
What's good?
Curious. He's cute too.
Oh.
Hey, Josh, you listen to
Joshy
this,
from
bro?
the block.
Hey, Joshy from the block. He's,
You know,
he's
his,
gonna throw that out.
his Instagram's Joshy from the block. Hit him
Is
up.
he still here?
No, he's coming
No,
back
he'll
though
be
for
back.
you, though.
He'll be
He'll
back.
come back
Cool.
for you.
Alright.
So wait, hey, Sam, it's like lightning rounds now, but Sam, what are the best? I know you haven't been able to dance ever since you broke your back falling down a waterfall with no
That's
fucking rope.
true, right?
But what are the best places to go out? Best nightlife for gay men in Medellin?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a lot of places in El Poblado now that are really, really cool and very international. So Bar Chiquita is a really cool spot. And one of the owners of that place actually has done like set design for J Balvin, which is, he's one of the most
That
popular.
place is awesome. I went there actually on a date, and I didn't know it was a gay bar. I went in there, and there was like straight couples, gay couples, and then all of a sudden I realized that everyone was gay. And I was like, oh, okay, we're literally
And
sitting on a
couples,
couch that
couples,
is a lip.
So the big
Lip
heart
cup.
behind,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Chiquita.
Chiquita's a good place, and Oráculo, and the owners like own both of those places.
Oráculo?
It's a play on words, like it's an oracle, but it's like oráculo, like as
Oráculo.
our,
Ooh.
right? Yeah. And they actually have like it's just so funny. You have to go. But they actually maybe you'll show this.
I have to go. Okay.
But they have like a big sort of display with somebody like spreading their
gotta do the
cheeks.
B-roll.
Right? It's cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'll send you the picture.
Yeah.
No, it's cool because it's very artistically done. They're very creative people. Those are my favorite places to go, and also because they're a few blocks from where I live. But there's also places in other parts of the city like that we're spread out, right? Downtown is a little seedy still, right? But there are some really cool places down there. But in Laureles and Estadio and that
Yo,
part of
you
the
call
town.
neighborhoods any names of these places that we can look up and put in this podcast for guys
Yeah,
coming
I'm
out?
just gonna tell you that right now. So Purple is a really cool spot.
Yeah.
And it's a very local feel, right? You don't have as many sort of like gringos like being there, whereas like over here you have just sort of a mixed feel, right?
Yeah.
Over in Pueblo, but over on La 33 is where it's called Purple, is a really, really cool spot, and they've moved all over the place, but they've finally found a good spot that's theirs. Nice, yeah.
So I got a question about that because I don't know if Andrew will admit or if he not admit, but if he'd agree with this.
Acknowledge.
But we become like, honestly, I've become a bit like snobby. I love Latino women since I was born. Basically, magazines, I'd be like, wow, she's beautiful, long black hair, tan skin, whatever. Loved it. And when I come here, I find it really difficult. Like, I mean, it wasn't the case when I was in Canada because I like it, all races, creed, color. Sure. I just love beautiful women. But I find most of the foreign women that come here, it's like I don't even bat an eye anymore because it's just like, wow, there are these Latinas and then there's these foreign women trying to mingle their way into what's really, really beautiful. That's my honest opinion on that. So to you, when you see like foreign guys, you'll be like, wow, they're on an equal playing field, or do you feel like the Latino guys are better that you're here?
Those motherfuckers are competition. They're. I'm not interested in gringos like per
Why
se.
is that?
Like I've never been attracted to white dudes, right? In general, like that's just sort of not been my thing. No offense.
Yeah.
But no, I found paradise. Like Medellin is a freaking paradise. Don't you agree?
I
And
agree.
I remember like on like a sort of a Facebook group, like these guys would be like, oh, I don't understand why the gays when I come to Medellin, the women here are beautiful. Like, there's just a logical disconnect there. Like, if you think that the women are beautiful, the men are probably beautiful too, right? And so, like, of course we want to come here for the same reason that you're coming here. Not the only reason, but it's true. I think guys here are really, really, really sexy.
Is the word getting out there? Like, I mean, I think that the word in all races, all communities, Medellin is where you come if you want to see beautiful women. And so we talked about it last episode, more black guys, Indian guys, Middle Eastern guys coming down here that you never saw before.
Right.
And so the word's out, right? There's
Yeah.
no secret that Medellin has hot women. It's on Netflix and whatever.
And hot men.
Is that picking up? Is that picking up? Like, this is the hot spot?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah,
Okay.
and that's why people are sort of traveling here for those sort of like weekend trips, to sort of like have those connections, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been a very interesting podcast so far.
Cool.
And I am definitely going to go home and waffle stomp.
And jerk off.
and jerk off.
Download, what is it called? Smuffer?
Snuffer? What was it called? Scruff.
No,
Oh,
scruff.
Scruffle?
Scruff. I'm getting scruff on the phone.
Scruff.
Scruffles?
Scruff.
I'm
And no,
Scruff.
but the guy who runs Scruff for Latin America actually lives here in Medellin, and he's a really cool dude.
We should hang out. Me, you,
Yeah.
Andrew, and Scruff.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
let's scruff it out.
All right.
Scruff, we can teach them how to waffle stomp. Sam, how can people find you online? Not to date you, but for your sexual escapades. Yeah, I'm sorry, your adventure tourism.
Yeah, your adventure.
Don't do so much
If a
adventure
motherfucker
anymore.
wants to come and
Yes.
fall down a waterfall,
Don't
Sam,
fall
how
down a
does-
waterfall. Like, no, we won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
No, obviously, you can visit our website at outincolombiatravel.com. You'll find a form, or you can send an email. You'll find my contact information and send us an email. I'm also on LinkedIn, link to that website. Just come there and send us a message, and I'll be happy to. I'll be the one answering that email.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. I hope it's not the last time. I'm sure it won't be, because I have a lot more questions about what you do in behind closed doors. Like, do you wear boxers or briefs,
What boxes or briefs, Sam?
or a thong?
Both.
At the same time,
Not at the same time.
that's some weird shit, man.
A thong? I haven't done a thong.
You've never worn a thong?
Andrew said that.
I'm
I don't
sure I
understand.
did.
I actually
Try
wore
it
a thong
on,
one time. I tried it on
Yeah. Did you like it?
a lot.
All right, cool. I'll invite you to the next party.
Awkward silence. Joel, any last closing questions or comments?
I don't know. You guys just got me all messed up with this waffle stomping and
He's
smuffer
imagining
and all this stuff.
him in a thong.
It's just weird. It just took a weird turn. This podcast took a weird turn. But hey, once again, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, I thought it would be enlightening. I got a lot of things to think about. I got a lot of things to think about. But as Andrew said, it's not going to be the last time. I can think of some really crazy podcasts where we can throw two and three people together and really get these questions rolling. Man, thank you very much for being out here, and wearing your lovely bunny t-shirt and all that. As you guys might notice, Andrew and I just dressed really special because we thought that Sam would appreciate this. That's actually a lie. We dress like this every week. And these shirts are from our people at Fu.
Fuera de lo común.
Yeah, in Provenza. So if you guys want to get flowery like me and Andrew.
Fuera de lo común. Out of the box.
Yeah.
Out of the box. Thinking out of the box. Fuera de lo común.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and all the podcast networks. Hit us up with your comments. If you guys wanted us to cover something or you want to be interviewed, hit us up as well. Felipe is on call.
Yeah. 24/7.
24/7. He
Yeah.
does bachelorette parties and gay
And it only gets weird with Felipe when the sex starts.
Exactly. Thank you guys. See you guys next time. Woo!
Salud.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you want to see Andrew in a skinny leopard print thong, please be sure to follow us and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, or any other major podcast platforms. And Andrew, if they want to see our ugly faces, what should they do?
They could see us on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube for show.